that section of road. This is the good section of road. It's narrow, but it shows that it's good. These are two full-size pickups passing. Their wheels are on the edge of the pavement, and there's a lot of space between the mirrors. We're asking that that remain the same. We think that there's changes needed to conditions 4 and 10 that I outlined in a previous memo. And which I can very quickly go over as soon as it appears. There it is. Condition 4, my memo said that this condition should be deleted or at least modified to delete the condition for providing documentation of access easements, because right-of-way was mapped as a right-of-way. What we would do would be to prove the intent. We would go back into the records and to the current owner, if there is an owner, to show the intent of that road is for access, since we can't get easements from anybody, any of the neighbors for that. Condition 10 should be modified to the effect that the road approach improvements will be made as feasible, given the existing property line configurations and potential negotiation with the parcel owners fronting on Sherwood Road. So we'd be negotiating for the best possible entrance that's there. Both Department of Transportation and Caltrans have done that. In the years that I've worked with everybody on road encroachments, it's always been, people will work with it so that you can get it the best that it can be. And that's what we would do. Kind of to wrap this up here, the road from, this is the big thing all along, and this is what got us started, and this is why we kept going when it looked like there was a challenge. The road from right-of-way to the applicant's parcel functions well as it is. And again, it's not perfect by today's standard. It met the standard at the time the previous subdivision was done, and it does work. It functions. Nobody's talking about improving that in the neighborhood. They want it approved from the applicant's parcel, and especially across the applicant's parcel. This subdivision will improve conditions on right-of-way much more than the 2 additional residences that it'll create will impact. This list of mitigation measures, I believe, far outweighs the additional 20 trips per day that this might have. Plus, I think it has plenty left in reserve to take care of the potential build-out, which is very limited. 1-acre zoning on the coast is very limited, and development of the existing 1-acre zone parcels of land should be encouraged, especially when it's infill like this. This is an important thing to meet all of the housing goals. There's a lot more I'd like to say, but I think that our time is going to limit that. And again, I think the impact, especially is when you read the tone of the letters that have come in, the few letters that have come in, the impact is not, the real impact on the ground isn't, it doesn't describe what the owner has felt and seen, and she grew up there, and her grandmother grew up there, and her father and her parents grew up there, and it's not an impact that they have seen the way it's described. Most of that seems to be focused on in front of her property, which she can fix. That paving in front of her property lasted from 1970 till now. It's been potholed, and they've had to fix that for many, many years. But the AC paving from the other side that's lasted since 1984, this will match that, and we'll have a long-term road. And I think I will end that at that point. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions of Mr. McKinley. Supervisor Pinches.
Sir, you said that this strip of land where the road is, that it's no man's land, nobody owns it. That can't be possible. Somebody owns it.
Right, and it could very well be that it is Georgia Pacific as heir.
And this is maybe more of a legal question. If you were granted this four-lot split, how would the person that wanted to buy one of these parcels, how would they obtain a legal right-of-way? I don't believe the title company cannot guarantee a right-of-way because the landowner don't have the ability to grant a right-of-way, whether it's prescriptive or a deeded, because they don't own that land. So how would,
Right.
if you were granted a subdivision, how would you, there's no way possible that you could grant the prospective buyers of those parcels a legal right-of-way to the property, and they couldn't obtain it.
Well, the way that that would be treated is that the condition, there's a condition that has not been removed, and we're not requesting it be removed. I did say, when I wrote the letter, that it should either be deleted or altered, and what I really meant is altered to where we get
But
something from somebody that shows that that is a right-of-way that can be used, and it could be easement from Georgia
this is
Pacific.
something that the county even can't control. It has to do with the
Right.
owner of that land.
Right,
I
and if
mean-
we don't meet that condition, then the subdivision would not, I mean, that's a
Because
standard
in order to
condition.
sell a piece of property, you're going to have to guarantee the person that buys that parcel a right-of-way. And that not being part of, and that's why I asked the original question, is this road on that parcel of land? And it's not.
Well, it's an interesting thing. I understand your question very well. It's an interesting thing that people have been building houses there, and people have been buying and selling the property, and so that stuff exists. These houses
Yeah.
didn't just, you know, some of them are new, and many of them have been around a long time.
Well,
but-
I'm assuming, and I'm sure, that anybody that has the existing, any property that's along that road, certainly by this time has a prescriptive right-of-way to that.
Right.
But when you're creating, what you're proposing to creating 3 additional parcels, that doesn't work for a new parcel. That only goes, the prescriptive easement only goes to that parcel. So I don't see legally how, you know, the county can't put in I mean, this is basically a private negotiation. I mean, in order, and, you know, I'm looking at the maps. I guess it was the second residence was built more recently than, because in the maps it only shows 1 building on this parcel. So I'm assuming, which you're entitled to 2 residences under the zoning. But to create 3 extra parcels, there's no way that you, the owner of that parcel, can grant somebody a right-of-way over a piece of property that you don't own. You don't, first of all, you don't grant prescriptive right-of-ways. Those go with the property. You can only grant a deeded right-of-way where you have the ability to grant that physical property to it. And when you don't own the deeded right-of-way, how can you give it to somebody or sell it to somebody?
Well, I don't think that we're really in conflict here, because the condition is, these conditions usually satisfied after the Planning Commission approval of a project. Then we go chase for those projects. So you're not giving this away because of that road issue. If we can't go out and make that road issue work, then we are, you know, the subdivision wouldn't happen. We're not asking for a waiver of that. We're just asking for an exception to the width.
Well, I'm just trying to protect you as a landowner, because
Yes.
you're going to get stopped when you sell a piece of property because the title company is not going to guarantee a right-of-way to it if you don't own it. I mean,
Right.
that has nothing, that's probably why it's not a condition of the county, because that's where you get stopped, is getting a clear title. And with this property, you're not going to get these new parcels you're talking about creating, you're not going to get a clear title, because they're not going to guarantee you have a legal right to get there.
Yeah, I'm confident that that can be done. I'm not sure how long it might take, but I'm confident it can be done, because I suspect there's only one owner. It's not negotiated